Hey, what's up, guys? It is your boy Kingdom, and welcome back to another video. I want to talk about content today. Now, you see there's some numbers on the screen, and basically what I've done is given you some of the high numbers, and I'm going to read some of the other ones. And what I want to do in this video is I want to talk about total viewership for the Minnesota weekend, and I want to talk about the importance of how to maximize YouTube to tell the story of our esport and narrative in general when it comes to Call of Duty esports, and then kind of borrow some ideas from the NBA and their YouTube channel and what they've done. And then a little bit I want to talk about the content from each of the individual teams, which some are great, some are nowhere to be found. And I think we're missing an opportunity at the forefront of what we're doing. I do see some intelligence and wisdom in the way that content is being released and when it's coming out, but I think we're still missing the mark. But the first thing I want to do is celebrate the victory, I would call it, from last weekend. Now, a lot of numbers that I've seen are in the 3 million range, and I don't know what they're not adding into those numbers. I'm not including MLG.TV at all in the numbers that you see on the screen. I just went to the YouTube channel, I went to Social Blade, and that's where I got all the numbers that I have. And I want to explain the numbers that you see on the screen. The numbers up top, day 1, day 2, day 3. Those are the 3 7-hour, 8-hour, 10-hour long videos specifically of the stream. And this is not about concurrence. I'm not looking at concurrence. I'm looking at total views. This is not about concurrence or anything like that. This is specifically how many views those videos got. Day 1 garnered 832,000 views. Day 2, 960,000, and day 3, 992,000. I'm guessing that day 2 and 3, especially day 3, will probably reach that 1 million mark, and it'll be a million. So we're looking at almost 3 million views just off of those videos. Now, additional content that was released on the channel is where the other 2 million views came from. Actually, more than 2 million views. And these are just the big matches. Now, they released a full match VOD of every match, and they were up within minutes. Bravo to the Call of Duty League for putting those videos up so fast. I have begged and pleaded for that to happen for many years. Some years it actually has happened. Other years it's like a week later, and I'm like, can I get the VOD of TK versus, like, it's like I'm fighting for the content. But the big matches, the biggest matches there was Chicago and Dallas at 472,000 for that one video, that one match. FaZe versus Dallas at 299,000, and Chicago versus Optic at 510,000. And so the total for the weekend, when you add everything together, you have 5.2 million. And I'll say this just for a second: the Chicago versus Optic match. Please, let's not be delusional enough to think that the fact that Optic still has 3 million followers, we can call them a shell of a corporation organization all we want, but the reality is they still have a very, very, very large fan base. And a lot of people that are outside of Twitter and not in the community like we are, where it's very toxic towards Optic, they still are Optic fans and they love Optic. They just they have new players now. There are a lot of people that are Scump fans and went with Scump, but there's a lot of people that didn't follow LeBron when he left Cleveland. You know, they're like, now they don't like the Lakers. And so there may be people that are like, I don't like those Chicago Huntsmen because they just took all of the good players away from Optic Gaming because they were really about the brand. That brand may seem like a shell and soulless and all this kind of stuff, but there's real people that work there and they actually do a good job. The video they made with Slasher facing off against Aches, 230,000 views on Twitter for that little video. That was genius content to promote their homestead. And so I still follow them and I still watch their content. I watch the content that they make. I like the content that they make. I like Mud Dog's personality and I like the team. So I'm not rooting for them or anything this year, but I'm not hating on them either. And I think that the reason the Chicago Optic match was big is not just because people wanted to see Chicago. That's a delusional case. It's thinking people just wanted to see Chicago. It's because Optic Gaming still has more followers than any team, including Chicago, in our esport. When you look at the individual following of the organizations, Optic still has the biggest following. And so when they tweet out to their 3 million followers or whatever, it makes a difference. It still makes a difference. And yes, that's the brand that Hector built. And it still makes a difference when people tweet from it, because that's how great of a brand he built. And so 5.2 million total for the weekend. Now, some other numbers that I want to share with you guys is that I did not include in this total of 5.2 million. 6 days ago, they came out with a Minnesota recap that was 46 seconds long and got 380,000 views on that YouTube channel. 46 seconds. Some other numbers that I wanted. The daily views on the YouTube channel, if you go to Social Blade, daily views, 1.4 million on Saturday and 2 million on Sunday. That's how many views specifically for those individual days. They got 1.2 million and 1.4 million and 2 million. Subscribers added to the channel on Friday. 29,000 people subscribed to the COD League channel. On Saturday, 22,000 people subscribed. And on Sunday, 17,000. Now, all of these numbers have gone down since this weekend, drastically. There's still about 1,000 people being added to the YouTube channel a day. But I will say that I feel like we are missing an opportunity. And I kind of want to talk a little bit about the individual content, but I also want to talk about the content from the league itself. And basically what I want to tell you guys is, I believe that we could still be getting millions of views in between from this event to the next. The NBA YouTube channel was struggling, in my opinion, about 3 years ago, because I would watch all of the I would watch highlights every day, because I wasn't watching full NBA games. So I would watch highlights every day, and I would watch top fives, countdowns, all that kind of stuff. LeBron's best plays, top dunks, top crossovers, all that kind of stuff. And for some reason, the NBA just didn't do it. And then finally, they hired probably maybe a team of 3 or 4 people. Well, they're the NBA, so maybe 10. But they hired a team, and now they're pumping out 10 videos a day. And one of their videos they put out just yesterday, LeBron versus the Spurs, highlights Lakers versus Spurs, 1.4 million views. Some of these organizations are starting to learn. The NFL, they locked down the Shakira and J-Lo halftime show. If you tried to upload it, it was going to get copyrighted. They uploaded it 3 days ago. 99 million views so far in 3 days, because it was one of the most talked about things ever. Narrative matters. And the one thing that Call of Duty has always been known for is the narrative of these players, is the storylines. And it's like when you come to the Harry Potter books late and you realize everybody's reading them, you go back and read the old ones. And so I believe that we're missing out on telling stories now that we're going to wish we told later. When we were on my podcast on Monday, my co-host, who definitely could be on one of the shows that I think they should do, but my co-host, Icon, one of the things he mentioned is he was like, Scump grinded and he grinded and he grinded and he grinded and he did this and he did that. And it's like, yeah, but he also had someone named Hector Rodriguez who knew that it was important to tell the story of Scumpy. He had a brand that knew that it was important to broadcast this guy and to make him known and to put him in interviews and to put him out in front of the world and to and let us know his mom and all this kind of stuff and tell his story and Nade Shot, tell your story and make videos and make content and tell your story. And Optic Gaming, we're going to tell the story. When we're sad after losing champs, we're going to let you guys see it. We're going to let you guys see Formal sitting on the ground, sad, holding his head over his hat. We're going to let you see the arguments between the players. When people quit our team, we're going to put a chair out, and then they're going to sit in it and tell you that they're like, Hector is a storyteller. That is why his brand is always the biggest, is because he tells stories. That's it. Even with the Eavesdrop podcast, what he's doing is telling stories. And then he posts little videos every day. He's growing his brand every single day, just keeping it out there. And here's the deal. Like, I'm not subscribed to the NBA on YouTube, but I watch probably 3 of their videos a day. because the way that the YouTube algorithm works is they're going to recommend things to me. If they know every third video, I'm going to watch it. If they know that if LeBron's face is on a video and it says, you know, highlights or something, because I'm a LeBron fan, that I'm going to watch it. If they know that it's something about the Lakers, that I'm going to watch it. I don't see like Raptors versus Knicks highlights. I don't even see those videos. And maybe they are in my feed and I don't even notice them. But anytime the Lakers do anything in the league, anytime LeBron's top 5 or plays of the night involve LeBron James, it comes in my feed and I might watch it. And they know that. YouTube, they're genius. Their algorithm works. And we don't have to focus on getting subscribers to this Call of Duty League channel. Just views and more views and more views and more views. Now, they're smart. They made the campaign about the biggest team. And if you notice in every single episode, you know what they talked about at the beginning? On February 26th through the 28th at the Armory in Minnesota, the Chicago Huntsmen are preparing. Every episode, they made sure we knew that they were promoting that event. The reason why tomorrow FaZe is dropping their video and Optic is dropping their video. And you know, I'm like, I want content. Where is more content? I want content. I will watch it. I will read it. I will listen to it. I'm listening to podcasts on Spotify from community members, because I'm so desperate to hear storylines and behind the scenes. I want to hear more about the event. That is the day and age we are in. And the reality is, them dropping those videos tomorrow is genius, because they're going to promote the event in London. You know, like, and FaZe isn't even in London. But it's going to get us excited about watching that event. So I guess here's the ideas I have. And I have some ideas that I think should happen. Number one, all the teams some of them need to step it up. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to make it personal. The Twitter videos is really where a lot of the teams are seeing success, like the Minnesota Rocker, whatever, the Minnesota team. Their video got like 20,000+ views on Twitter. The full video upload. On YouTube, it only got like 1,000. So as these teams are trying to grow their YouTube channels, even the Atlanta FaZe YouTube channel only has like, I don't even think it has 2,000 subscribers yet, and they're dropping the video tomorrow. So I think that one of the first things is the Call of Duty League should show teasers of individual content for and help all those other channels grow to tell stories, because the podcast and the interviews of individual players that they're doing on the Empire channel and on the Rocker channel, and that they're hopefully going to do on the Atlanta FaZe channel, that they're doing on the Chicago Huntsman channel or the Energy channel, I believe that is important for people to see. A lot of people ask me all the time, who are these new players? I don't know an Illy and a Shotzi. What is that? Well, you know what? Who is that guy? Like, people want to know. Hector's a genius. He interviewed him. You know, the Arcity's interview on the Eavesdrop was one of the best pieces of content I've seen this year. The Clayster interview was great, and that wasn't even the Empire doing that. That was Hex. But I think there needs to be features where there's teasers where you basically are linked to go to their YouTube channel and watch the content, so that they can just get into your YouTube algorithm and you can start, you know, seeing those videos show up. I think there should be a campaign for all of the home teams, or at least one of the visiting teams. I think there should be a campaign for every home series. I think that was a genius idea. I'm sure most of it was done by Hector and his team, because he knows how to make content, and he knows how to engage players, and he's a genius at it. This guy even has Instagram stories interviewing his players. Like, he puts content everywhere. Gary Vee, in one of his videos, says if you're not putting out 100 pieces of content a day, you're not doing enough to grow your brand. That's it. You know, Hector is putting out content everywhere, all over the place. Just if it's a tweet, if it's a video that he's posting, if it's something that's being promoted that he's re-promoting, if it's something on Instagram, IG stories, if it's something on YouTube, he's got multiple videos dropping a day. He knows what he's doing. The league can learn from this guy. If I was the league, I would honestly pull Hector in and say, hey, what's the best way to promote this league? Like, how can we tell the story of these teams? And one of the ways, I think, is to do a campaign for all of the other teams leading up to the home series events. And now, is it going to get as many views? No. But guess what? More people will know who Cammy is. More people will know who Classic is. You know, some people might look at Classic that's a new team, that's new to the esport, and be like, who is this guy? I never heard of him before. Classic's been around for a minute. He's been on a lot of teams, and he's done well on teams. And so tell the story. You know what I'm saying? People look at JCap on Optic, and you might have new people to the esport be like, he's the weak link on that team. They need to, that guy. And then they don't even know he has 2 rings. They don't even know that he used to be on Optic Gaming. They don't even know that he was actually, like, they don't know the history of this dude and what he's done. And they don't know how many championships he has. They don't know. And so I think there's a lot of players that their story deserves to be told. My beloved Seattle team, I just think we can do such better. And I know that it's Canadian-based, but as someone who lives in the area, I just feel like, we've got Microsoft here, we've got Nintendo here, we've got a freaking a gaming museum in Seattle, in the center of Seattle. Like, we have there's an esports team at University of Washington, and there's esports stadiums, and there's just so much we could be doing to promote the brand of the Seattle Surge, in my humble opinion. And I don't think we're doing enough. I don't think we're doing enough to tell the story of Enable and Apathy and Octane and Slacked. And I just think we could do more. And I'd love to see more. I mean, Karma, like, dude, one of my favorite videos I've made was my Don't Sleep on Karma, or Don't Forget About Damon Barlow, whatever it was called. Like, that guy is an all-time GOAT in our esport, and I would prop him up the same way that Chicago's going to prop up Scump, in a smart way. Why not? Scump is one of the most recognizable faces in our esport. And that's another idea that I guess I'll throw out right now, is kind of like when the NBA was struggling, what they started to do was make their own highlights for every game. They broke an entire basketball game down into 10 minutes. And what they realized is, okay, look, guys, we may not get the viewership we want on the TV, but 6 million people a day are watching the NBA YouTube channel. 6 million people. They have 13 million subscribers. If you're getting half of your subscriber base in views per day, that's pretty good. 6 million. They're getting 6 million views a day. Hundreds of thousands of subscribers. And in the last month, they've added 400,000 subscribers to the NBA YouTube channel. They're starting to go trajectory up. They were down just in 2017, they were only getting like 30,000, 40,000 a month. And now you're talking about 400,000. Last month was 200,000. And I think the Call of Duty League as a franchise can see that level of success. And my thing is, like, if we're on YouTube, why not let's do YouTube? Like, if we're on YouTube, let's be on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? We're not on Twitch, where VODs are harder to find and content isn't going to lead you to Twitch in the same way that YouTube, if you make content on that YouTube channel, it's going to lead you there. Now, Maven said on Twitter, he doesn't have time to make Hot Mic and all these kind of shows. He's got his own personal streaming, and he's got to travel every other week or every 3 weeks or whatever to all these different events, and he doesn't have time to do that kind of a show. There's enough people in this community that they can gather around. I mean, how about this? Here's an idea. Scump's top plays from Minnesota. 2 minutes long. You don't even have to have somebody's face on there. You get a voiceover. The Chicago Huntsmen did a great job going 2-0, beating their rivals, Optic Gaming LA, and the number 1 ranked on many of the power rankings, Dallas Empire, or number 2, or whatever Dallas was. And their captain, Seth Scump Abner, these are his top 5 plays. And you just, like, literally, you have the top 5 plays of Scump. You're telling me that 2-minute video, if a 46-second recap of Minnesota got 380,000 views, you're telling me that 2-minute video, if it was put out a week ago, wouldn't have gotten 300,000 to 500,000 views? Tell the story. The NBA has learned. You want people to watch more NBA games? Tell the story. Tell the freaking story. And then sometimes some of those videos are going to go viral enough to where it actually matters for advertising and marketing. Like, I really think we can do a lot more. We can do countdowns. We can do like they could do highlights of each of the matches. So they put up all these matches and look at the big 3 matches. Like, what if they took that Chicago-Dallas match and said Chicago versus Dallas, Chicago Huntsmen versus Dallas Empire top plays, and they did a highlight video that was 2 to 3 minutes long, just of those 2 teams when they played each other, and just had the casters' voices in there and everything, and uploaded that. They'd probably get another 400,000 views. And we're already going to have good live viewership. But it's like I think somebody said one time on Twitch, like, whatever you get in live views, you can get like 10% of that in views post live, or I don't remember how it is. What I'm noticing on my Twitch channel, I don't have a lot of live viewers, but I almost have more people watching my VODs than watching me live. And that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so there's such a huge opportunity for content on this YouTube channel. And the last thing I'll kind of add in there is one of the most popular shows regarding the NBA is Inside the NBA. And I know I'm borrowing a lot from the NBA, and this is a completely different sport and all this kind of stuff. But a lot of the people in our esport are sports fans, and they talk about NBA on the timeline, so, you know, and NFL and all that kind of stuff. But I don't watch as many NFL shows, but I know the NBA. Inside the NBA is one of the greatest shows ever created on television. It has received Emmys. It's been awarded. I actually recently started listening to the podcast of Ernie Johnson and Charles Barkley, so there's more content, personal content coming out of it. But Inside the NBA is such a awesome show that I don't always watch. A matter of fact, I don't watch anymore on TV. I watch on YouTube. I watch snippets and highlights on YouTube and little breakdowns, and the same thing that like Hex does with the eavesdrop, breaking it down into multiple videos. He can take one interview and make 5 videos out of it, maybe more, and release them over time. And it's genius content. Hector, you're a genius. I'm just gonna say that you're a freaking genius. And Gary V's right. You're one of the most important people in our esport. What if we came out with an Inside the CDL show? You know, and it could be just much like the esports news that Puckett used to do. You know, I got to go on that show before, and it was me and Benson, and I don't remember what event we were talking about or whatever. But I remember I was at my church, and I found a private room, and I just fired up my internet, put on a webcam, and just sat there and talked to Puckett, you know, and I was interviewed, and 40,000 people were watching or something like that. And so it's, or that's how many views the video got, you know what I'm saying? 40,000 weren't watching live. It was like 5,000 or something. But the esports report is the kind of thing that I'm talking about. And the reason that you do content like this, the reason that an Inside the CDL show would be amazing, is because you're telling narrative. And that is what I think a lot of people don't recognize is important for competitive Call of Duty, is narrative, storylines. I am getting my information, my stories, my narratives from Spitfire. You know, I listen to Spitfire and I learn about the Paris team and the coach of Paris, and I learn about Zed, and I learn about, and I forgot about what happened with some of those players last year, and I'm learning narrative, and then it makes me want to see what Paris does this weekend even more. And I may wake up at freaking 2:30 in the morning or whatever time it is so that I can see them play. I was going to wait and not wake up till 3:30 in the morning to watch Seattle play, but I may wake up earlier to see Paris because I'm listening to their narrative and the storylines, you know, and I get storylines listening to the podcast because Pac-Man and Nameless will talk about stuff that happened at the event behind the closed doors because they have knowledge that I don't have. The reason you do shows like that, the reason you produce content like that is because you get to tell your own story as an esport, as an organization, as a league. You get to tell the narrative of what's happening instead of leaving us all like, is this a championship or is it a championship? You know, like put an official show together and let those guys that are on the show talk about it, and it won't shut the rest of us up. But that'll be that will be the highest level of opinion, will be those guys. You know what I'm saying? It's like all of us are very opinionated in this culture. We are very opinionated. But when Charles Barkley and Shaq and Kenny and Ernie, when they talk about teams, it's different. You know, they have a perspective that we don't have. They've been in the NBA. When they say certain things, it's like, I never thought about that. You know what I'm saying? And so I am very proud and very happy about how we did. But think about it. We're going into London where VOD is going to be so important. And getting people to watch those VODs is going to be so important because our American viewing audience, time zone wise, is going to be a little off kilter. And so smart that they're doing it on just the weekend. That's genius, because nobody's waking up at 2 a.m, 3 a.m. on a Friday to watch Call of Duty. That has to work, and so I think it's smart that they're doing it on the weekend. It'll probably get some viewership, and it'll end a lot earlier than our normal stuff, so it might actually be good. The London viewership might be good, but video on demand is going to be key, and I think we can just do a better job with it. I think that the league should consider hiring a content director, a producer, and an editor at the least, like a team of 3 people, and their main job is just to run that channel. That's it. There's already someone doing it. There's already someone putting up these videos instantly. There's already someone who is making these thumbnails. There's already someone managing the channel, but there could be more content, pull an editor in to just do top plays and to produce them. And that's their job, is like, okay, your job is you're going to start making top plays the moment that the match goes. Like once the match gets up on YouTube, within an hour, I want top plays. Or no, let's say when the event ends, you start producing top plays for those matches immediately. The fact that the NBA puts out highlights at halftime, and there's first half highlights, because that's the kind of stuff that people were doing on YouTube. And why not learn from what everybody else is doing? Some of the podcasts that we have for our esport are really good. I like all of them, and they're all now on freaking Spotify. So I'm trying to get my podcast on Spotify, but I love them all. And listening to people talk about COD, I love it. Because it tells stories and narrative, and I learn about players, and I learn things that I didn't know, and that because I'm getting the results of someone else's research, and then I want to see more and hear more and see more and hear more and see more and hear more. And our community is greedy for content, but it's got to be, for people to watch it on YouTube, it's got to be specialty content that they can't get on Twitter and that they can't get on anywhere else. And you could take some of that content and put it on Spotify. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. I really hope that viewership is really good for this upcoming weekend. I hope that it surpasses what we did at the launch weekend. Although I know that the Chicago campaign did a lot for it. And with Optic not being there, it may make a difference in viewership. We'll see. We will see. But I'm sure, as I normally have been so many times, I start talking about stuff like this, and they've already got it in the works. They're already talking about it. There's so much that this league has to do, and I don't want you guys to mistake it as if I'm saying that the league is not doing their job. This is not me saying they could do their job better. This is me saying I think we could get a lot more out of this YouTube channel because we're on YouTube now. Let's be on YouTube then. So if we're on YouTube, why not? Let's make YouTube content. Let's make videos. You got 700,000, 750,000 subscribers. They would watch other stuff than just live matches, and recaps of live matches. They would watch highlights. They would watch countdowns. They would watch top 5 plays. They would all of that stuff would be dope to see. And so hopefully we'll see some of it. You guys let me know in the comments below what you think, what you want to see on the COD League channel. What would you watch if they put it on that channel? Nevertheless, it's your boy Kingdom. I'll see you guys in the next video.